It's adaptable, full of flaws, but incredibly functional, rather than a rigid machine. We are more like an ever-adapting organism where each body is a unique biological blueprint. And behind every incomplete merger, there's a different story, an unexpected curve in the process of evolution, sometimes benign, sometimes limiting, but always revealing. Because every deviation from the norm shows us how much we still have to learn about ourselves. After everything you've seen so far, one thing is clear: the human skeleton is not a static structure. It is a living, sensitive system that responds to everything that happens around it. And this starts from the first seconds outside the womb. The quality of a baby's bones, their ability to fuse, their alignment, all this depends on three invisible pillars: nutrition, hormones, and mechanical stimuli. Nutrition is the foundation. Calcium, phosphorus, vitamin D, all are essential raw materials for transforming cartilage into bone. Without these elements, the ossification process can fail. A baby who is malnourished or deficient in vitamin D may develop a condition called rickets, where the bones do not harden as they should. The skeleton literally softens. Hormones are the body's silent engineers. Growth hormone, natural steroids, and even sex hormones such as testosterone and estrogen are essential for accelerating bone fusion at the right times. This is why, during puberty, there is a real leap in bone development. And finally, mechanical stimuli, that is, the movement. When a baby crawls, walks, jumps, he is sending physical signals to his bones. I exist. I need you strong. This friction, this natural compression, is what stimulates bone remodeling. Bones that are still, without stress, begin to deteriorate even in childhood. The body needs movement to know it needs to strengthen itself. In other words, you shape your bones with what you eat, what you feel, and what you do. And every choice counts, because even if you don't see it, your skeleton hears everything. At the beginning, we told you a mystery, that at birth, you had almost 300 bones, and now there are only 206. But now you know, those bones didn't disappear. They were devoured by time, absorbed, fused, remodeled. Your body swallowed its old parts to become something new, like a bridge that closes, like armor that adjusts. And this transformation is still happening in you. Now, bones renew themselves every decade. Cells die and are born. The skeleton you have today is not the same as it was 10 years ago, and it won't be the same in 10 years. You are a project in constant reconstruction, made of matter, but also of mystery. If this video made you see your body in a different light, wait until you see what happens when it starts to break down from the inside without anyone noticing. Click on the next video in the playlist and come discover the invisible side of the internal cracks that almost all of us carry without knowing it. Now tell me, of everything you saw here today, what was the part that caught you by surprise? Did you find out that you once had almost 300 bones? Or that your body literally swallows pieces of itself to grow? Comment below. I want to know what impressed you the most, and what do you want to see in the next dive we take inside the human body? There's a theme that many people ask for. Why do our bones thin with age? Why is that body that was once strong, flexible, resistant, begins to crack, to shrink, to lose density, even if we don't notice? If you want to understand this, comment. I want to know about bones in old age. Who knows, maybe this won't be the next mystery we'll reveal together. Because here, curiosity never ends. It just changes shape. If this video made you rethink your own body, imagine what's yet to come. In the next episode, we'll delve into a new mystery. What happens to bones when they begin to fail silently? How can your skeleton look strong on the outside but be falling apart on the inside? Click on the playlist here on the side and continue this journey with us. And if this content touched your mind or your heart, share it with someone who also needs to see it. Subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, comment below, because every comment you make helps build this community of curious people who see life from the inside out. Here, we don't watch just for the sake of watching. We feel it and comes back, wanting more. When you were a baby, your body had more bones than it does now. No, that's not a metaphor. It's literal. A newborn carries between 275 and 300 bones. But as the body grows, this number mysteriously decreases. Little by little, some bones simply disappear, others fuse together. But why? Where do they go? Does the human body hide secrets that most people never realize? In this video, you'll discover how your own skeleton was once a completely different structure, and the truth behind it could change the way you see the human body forever. These bone pieces that apparently disappeared over time, they're still there, inside you. But not like they were before. They merged, adapted, transformed into something bigger. Bones that were once separate now form unique structures. It's as if your own body has made a puzzle, a living puzzle, shaped by millions of years of evolution, and one that continues to be put together in the first years of your life. The most fascinating thing, you carry this mystery in your chest, in your legs, in your skull, and most people will live their entire lives without ever knowing it. But you are about to see what almost no one sees. Now, let's get to the numbers. According to experts at the Cleveland Clinic, a baby is born with between 275 and 300 bones, far more than an adult, who is just 206. The difference is so big that it seems impossible. How can a baby's body so small, so fragile have nearly 100 more bones than that of a fully formed adult? The answer lies in something popular science calls the miracle of ossification. Each of these small bones functions as a temporary piece of provisional structure made to change, to fuse, to transform. During the first years of life, the body undergoes a kind of invisible metamorphosis. Bones that were previously separated come together, soft cartilage hardens, and little by little, the baby's skeleton consolidates until it becomes the rigid base that supports the adult. But here's the most curious detail. Not all extra bones disappear. Some remain hidden, tucked away as small pieces of bone that even doctors can't easily spot. And it is at this point that the mystery becomes even deeper. The truth is, many of these bones we find in a baby's body are not real bones yet, at least not in the way we are used to imagining. What we have there is something more primitive, more flexible, a tissue called cartilage, soft, elastic, almost like rubber. It is this cartilage that takes the place of several bones in the first months and years of life. And there is an impressive reason for this. The baby needs malleability to be born. A rigid skeleton would never pass through the birth canal safely. This is why the body, brilliantly, forms first with softer structures, prepared to mold, adapt, and only then become stronger. Imagine bending a rubber spoon. Now imagine trying to do the same with a metal spoon. This initial flexibility is what saves the baby's life. But as time passes, what was once cartilage begins to undergo an almost alchemical process, a process that transforms this soft tissue into hard, firm, and resistant bone. What's the name of this? Ossification. The clearest and perhaps most surprising example is right here, in the skull of a newborn. Contrary to what many people think, a baby's head is not a single bony piece. It is made of many separate fragments, like pieces of a biological puzzle. And between these plates, there are soft spaces. These are the famous fontanelles, or as many know them, the soft spots. These weak points are not there by chance. They are nature's engineering. They allow the skull to compress slightly during birth, facilitating passage through the birth canal. But they also have a second, even more vital function: allow the developing brain room to grow. If the skull were a single, rigid piece at birth, brain pressure could be fatal over time. These plates come closer together, touch, and fuse, forming the skull as we know it. But this is not the only case of bone joining that occurs in the body. Vertebrae in the spine, for example, undergo specific fusions throughout childhood. Some parts of the base of the spine only fully fuse around the ages of 18 to 25. Smaller ribs, initially separate, connect to larger structures. Even hip bones like the ilium, ischium, and pubis are born divided, and only later fuse into what we know as the hip bone. The human body, in childhood, is like a work under construction, floating plates, waiting for the right time to fit together. All this happening in silence, without you noticing. But now that you know this, you'll never look at your body the same way again. If this kind of discovery left you with butterflies in your stomach, don't let that curiosity die now. The human body is full of enigmas like this, and the next one may be even more surprising. Activate the bell and subscribe now, because in the next videos, we will delve even deeper into the invisible parts of our biology. And look, your comment is very important. Tell us below what surprised you most in this video, or what mystery you want to see in the next one. We read everything, we respond, and we build each piece of content with you, because this channel is not just about science. It's about curious people who want to see their own bodies with different eyes. So like, comment, share, and come with us on this journey, because the next mystery is already growing inside you, literally, and the way it happens will surprise you. But what if this process of fusion of the skull bones happens too quickly? There's a name for it: craniosynostosis, a rare and often silent condition in which the plates of the skull fuse prematurely in the first few months of life, and the result can be devastating. With the brain still in full development, space within the skull becomes limited, compressing brain tissue and potentially causing increased intracranial pressure, facial deformities, vision problems, and even delayed cognitive development. A baby with craniosynostosis may appear healthy for the first few days, but little by little, the signs begin to appear: a very prominent forehead, far-set eyes, or an unusually shaped head. In more severe cases, cranial surgery may be necessary within the first year of life, a delicate operation that involves literally reopening the sutures of the skull so that the brain has room to grow. An emblematic case was that of Lucas, an American baby diagnosed at 3 months old with a rare form of multiple craniosynostosis. His parents noticed that his head was too narrow, and his eyes seemed to bulge. After examinations, confirmation came: several bones in the skull had already fused, preventing normal brain growth. Lucas underwent two surgeries in the first 18 months of his life, and today, thanks to early intervention, he is developing well. But not everyone is so lucky. Many cases are not diagnosed in time, and this shows how what is invisible on the outside can be shaping or limiting everything that happens on the inside. Bone fusion is a gift, but when it happens at the wrong time, it can become a biological trap. But what happens when the bones just don't fuse? When the parts of the skeleton that should come together stay apart? This also happens, and more often than you might think. This failure in the natural fusion process can give rise to unusual bone structures, or, in some cases, complex medical conditions. An example: some adults have open fontanelles in their skull's small spaces that never completely close. Others are born with what medicine calls accessory bones, bones that should have fused together but remained independent. One of the best known is the os trigonum, a small bone that forms behind the ankle and can cause chronic pain in athletes and dancers. Another intriguing example is the os acromiale, part of the shoulder that never fused with the rest of the scapula. These variations reveal an uncomfortable and yet fascinating truth: human development is not perfect,